put in the normal. Good morning. How are you? I'm glad you can what a good turnout. I thought it Sharon.
I think one of the major points is that all this land goes straight from 7D straight to E2.
Thanks everybody for coming here to see probably one of the key environmental issues that's facing not only the Illawarra but also Sydney. We're here right on the doorsteps of Australia's oldest national park, our single most historic national park. The Royal National Park has, I think, a real value to us as not only residents of the Illawarra but also from all Australians. In fact, it's about the second oldest national park on the planet. So we are talking a piece of fundamental environmental heritage, and it's under threat at the moment because of a rezoning proposal that's been put forward by Wollongong Council. The land that abuts the Royal National Park has enormous environmental value, and you can see it from here, that connection between the coast, the wooded hills up to the escarpment, leading through Helensburgh into the Royal National Park. And it's under threat from industrial development, it's under threat from residential development, because the current 7D zoning is going to be watered down by Wollongong Council. So we're here to say to the community, we've got 1 month to engage with Council, 1 month to get your submissions in, 1 month to speak up for not only the Royal National Park, but also the impacts further downstream, the sediment that will be going into Port Hacking and the destruction of the environmental values. There's a fairly simple ask that we're saying. Those key parts of environmentally sensitive land, those wooded connections between the coast and the national park need to be protected. They need to have the highest level of environmental protection. That's a pretty simple ask for our most historic national park, for probably one of the jewels in the environmental crown for the Illawarra. So I might just ask Natasha Watson, who I think's been campaigning on this issue for as long as I've been coming down here, Natasha, to give a quick burst about maybe some of the animals and some of the environmental values.
Okay, well, we're standing at the moment on my iconic Bold Hill, which is at the top of Rockford, and also the direct buffer of the Royal National Park, which does actually connect, of course, right through the Illawarra escarpment through this essential wildlife corridor. Recently we discovered endangered animals like the greater glider. We have residents of the powerful owl, tiny little pygmy possums found in suburbia right in the middle. So you can imagine how important this is when the wild bushfires sweep through the Royal National Park, that this becomes a nursery down here, this last little bit of bushland. That is just, the key to maintaining the long life of the Royal National Park itself. Dharawal over to the west, and the Illawarra Escarpment State Conservation Area to the south.
Probably do the cameras.
Yeah, so what's happening at the moment is that this has been back and forth so many times now. Over the years, previous councils have many times over the years responded to the push for development by saying no, by saying this is important, environmentally sensitive, that it's very important for the area, that it's important for the health of the Hacking River catchment and for the Royal National Park, and as David and Natasha have said, the green corridors that reach through to the Illawarra escarpment between the other bits of National Park that are further inland and further south from here. During the huge fires that were experienced several years ago, most of this area was burnt out. Most of the Royal National Park was burnt out. This created a corridor which allowed animals and birds to escape from the fires, to move into neighbouring areas and regenerate themselves and then move back in gradually when it was okay for them to come in. It's really important as a green corridor to protect and save these areas. At the moment, this council has put it on exhibition to do some rezoning of all of these lands. There's a fair bit of it that is good, that we've decided to stay with an E2 environmental protection zoning, but there are areas that are not so good. For example, there has been a proposal to put in a light industrial zoning through some of these areas that used to be called environmental protection. Now that's adjacent to residential areas and it's adjacent to bushland. It's on the headwaters of the Hacking River. It is not appropriate to have industrial use of that land. It would never be appropriate, and any expansion of the residential areas around here is not appropriate. It's a very special area. Helensburgh is surrounded by bushland. It's a high risk area for people who live there, and it's very hard to get out in a dangerous situation. the bushland needs to be protected, and it should continue to be protected with the highest level of environmental protection zoning.
Thanks, Jill. Amazing. You look at every single councillor who's got elected onto this council. Somewhere in their material, they would have said they were standing up for the environment and they're opposed to overdevelopment. Well, now's the chance to hold them to account on that. This matter will come back to council. You call with local councillors, speak to the mayor, say stand up for what you said in the election campaign, which was opposing overdevelopment and protecting the environmental values of the Illawarra. This is the chance to do that. It's all well and good to put it in a pamphlet. It's all well and good to stick something in the letterbox when you're running for council that says you're going to stand up for the environment and you're going to oppose overdevelopment. But this is the real test for this council, probably the first real test for Wollongong Council. If what they said during the election campaign has any currency, if they're going to be held to their promises they made during the election campaign, now's the chance. They can live up to that with their vote, and they can vote to protect this crucial corridor between the National Park and the sea. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Picture-wise, Shoebridge, can I keep this corridor? Oh, yeah.